Greetings and skeletations, my new ghoul friends. I'm Niomi Dylan Sass, resident podcaster here at UIC Radio, and I'm taking you along with me to visit something grave today. This is where hauntings feel like hellos. Welcome to the brand new podcast for everything in the horror genre, from movies to mythologies and mysteries. This is She's in the Crypt. On this week's Frightful Journey, we have with us a charming, compassionate creature today, Celeste Zito. We are on our way to the crypt to dig up a review about Guillermo del Toro's 2025 release of Frankenstein. We'll be giving our first impression on this highly anticipated movie starring Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein, Mia Goth as Elizabeth, and Jacob Elordi as the creature. After that, we're going to compare and contrast this new film adaptation that was based on the classic novel written by Mary Shelley. Also, we will be comparing this iteration to the original film adaptation Frankenstein, 1931, and its sequel, The Bride of Frankenstein, 1935. We want to know, did the story stay true to the original? Did the change that come out of it create a story that is more comprehensible for modern times? So, there will be a trigger warning at the beginning of each of my episodes, just in case today's dark discussion isn't your preferred potion. I'm going to be talking about tormenting, like gun violence, animal violence, arson, and a little bit of death. Cool, I get it if you can't listen to that right now. Just leave us a like on your way out and be sure to tune in next week for a different dark discussion. After this quick break, I'll be back to do some grave digging into the story of a creature that has a special place in the crypt's cold, haunted heart. I'll be rolling in my grave with excitement while you listen to this quick message from beyond. Excellent. Everything is set. All I have to do is say this incantation. Hominem Revilio. Okay, that didn't work. Well, let me do it the old-fashioned way. This is She's Summoning. Everybody, please welcome Celeste Zito. Hey.
Hello. Hi.
How was Purgatory?
Pretty good.
Awesome. I know you just got done recording your live show, right?
Yes.
So what is it about?
So basically, we play a bunch of different music. Today's was a jazz show. We kind of didn't feel like talking today. It's been snowing outside a lot.
Right.
So we kind of just wanted to relax. So today we played jazz, but we really just play a mix of everything. We've played Depeche Mode, The Cure.
Love the Depeche Mode.
Yeah, just a lot of different stuff, so you should definitely watch.
I caught the end of it on the way out, and it was definitely, I was vibing to it. That's why I had to open up the door a little bit, make sure I could hear the speaker. Celeste's show is at 10 a.m. on Mondays,
yes.
And where is it at again? On UICradio.net.
Yes, at
plus.
UIC Radio. Mm-hmm.
Cool, awesome. So please make sure to tune into that. My show, it uploads at that time, but it'll always be there. So at 10 o'clock, make sure to go check out Celeste's show. So what is your major and how did you choose it?
My major is architecture, and then right now I'm looking into maybe double majoring in German, but
tight.
To be continued, to figure that out later.
Right. How did you land here?
Basically, I've always been good at art and also a little bit of math, and I feel like architecture, looking more into it, I like how theoretical, a lot of it is ideology, and I think that's really interesting. So yeah, just being able to explore that. And then German, I took German all 4 years of high school, and then I just I don't know, it just really fit. So
Are you German at all?
No, I'm not really.
Okay.
I think I might be a little bit, but
Right, I'm technically half German. I'm half
Yeah.
German, half Mexican, but my mom, she doesn't know anything about that.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people who they have heritage,
right?
It just doesn't really carry down unless your parents are from there or something.
Right, and then they uphold traditions, which
yeah,
glad we don't. So, what kind of draws you to the genre horror?
Ooh, okay. I don't know. I feel like horror is just an interesting thing. It's almost like looking at something that's oh, maybe I shouldn't watch this.
Right.
But yeah, I always like, in particular, Frankenstein, I've always known about the story, but for some reason it's always just like connected with me. I think I watched the Wendigoon video first that I
Nice.
sent you. And then I was like, wow, this is really interesting. So I just like always liked it. And then this movie came out and yeah.
Oh my goodness,
here
that's kind of
today.
like the same story with me with this movie. Except I didn't like listen to that until you like sent it to me. Which when I was listening to it on my way here, I don't know if it was like the stress of driving in the snow or like I don't know. Always in the morning, I feel a little more emotional.
Yeah.
But like every time I hear a different iteration of like the creature story, I still always like sympathize with him right at the beginning. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. But so, what are you most excited to talk about today?
Ooh, I think personally, I don't know. I like the adaptation, but I just think it changes so much, like about the like meanings and the interpretation of the story.
Right.
So I think that's the thing I'm most excited for, just talking about the changes and how it changes, like how different people interpret the story and use it in different ways.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
I think that's why this is one of those stories that continuously get like readapted into like new imaginations, into new iterations, because it is something that is like, you know, the concept of it is like you're playing God.
Yes.
Which that is a hot topic always.
Always.
So you know what? Why don't we get into this next segment? This is Dark Discussions. So, Frankenstein 2025 was based on the novel by Mary Shelley, directed by Guillermo del Toro, is a new adaptation to the century-old classic that left me gagged by costumes and scenery, and emotional because of the heaviness of the story's themes that play with ambition, madness, and revenge. It broke down into 3 parts: the interlude, Victor's Tale, and the Creature's Tale. So it sets in 1857 around the farthermost north. The interlude brings us to a crew at the Royal Danish ship on their way to the North Pole, and it seems that they got stuck in ice. An explosion goes off into the distance, so some of the crew goes to investigate. Finding an injured Victor there and a pissed-off creature, the crew gets Victor on board, but the creature follows them back to the ship. Then they begin to fire at the creature, which results in him killing his way on board. In an intense first battle, the creature loses, allowing time for Victor to tell the captain how he knew the creature. So, this was a short interlude, but a very like impactful, strong interlude.
Yes.
So, what is it that stood out to you?
I thought this was interesting. I feel like in the original story, the crew on the ship just discover Victor. They see the monster, but the monster doesn't come after them.
Right.
And so this is interesting. I think the main purpose of this, I feel, was for the movie to make it interesting because like, whoa, there's this huge fight, but it also gives us more insight onto the monster and like how the monster really wants to try to get at Victor and how like his like
Objective,
motivation,
basically, yeah.
objective is like he kind of is a little bit more ruthless than he was like that
At
you
the
will find out
beginning.
later. Yes.
Definitely. For me in the interlude, I think like one of the kill scenes, like one of the kills he did, which was like crazy just to show his strength, he just punched someone and then like the whole body bent backwards into
Oh
like a
my gosh,
scorpion. I was like,
yes.
okay, that was crazy.
Or like when he just like pulls off some guy's arm,
Right.
like what's that about?
That one felt personal. And it also kind of like reveals a little bit of like this story's iteration, how it heavily focuses on the creator kind of being the monster in a sense.
Yes.
So they get like the little sense, the captain of the Danish ship is like, what kind of devil would create this kind of person? And then that is kind of how it like leads into the next part of the tale, right?
Yes.
So in Victor's tale, we see his family background. He had a little brother, mom, and a distant father. Victor has always been a part of the dark side, and his brother has always been more on the lighter side. Victor vows to surpass his father's knowledge and skill. When their parents die, they get separated. So later in life, Victor becomes an intelligent doctor, and his little brother ends up getting married to Elizabeth Harlander, or is to be married to Elizabeth Harlander. Elizabeth's uncle is intrigued with Victor's work with reanimating the human body after death and offers to finance his work. Of course, with a little bit of money to back up a lot of madness, his creation ends up working. And now Victor is responsible for this living and breathing creature. We see quickly that Victor is regretting his creation for a multitude of reasons and decides he needs to destroy the creature. So I'm really trying my best to give summaries in a way where I don't like give too many spoilers, but again, like this basis of the story is like centuries years old. So
A little bit too late if you don't know.
Right. So I like the main thing, like there isn't like too much spoilers. You can't really spoil this movie auditory wise because there's so much like scenically and
Yes.
costume wise and just like all of that. You have to see it in order to get the whole concept of it. So, you know, if you hear a little bit of the story where you're like, oh my God, no, don't worry, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, Celeste, what about Victor's tale stood out the most to you?
So I was watching a couple of interviews and like looking at like comments and stuff. And originally when I was watching this, I felt very strongly about these changes. I
Right.
personally did not like them at first, but as like I did some more like ruminating on it, I realized like this is just Guillermo del Toro's interpretation of it.
Right.
He wanted to bring in his own like experience with like his father and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In the original story, Victor, he has a very loving, supportive family. And so it's kind of interesting how both of these changes, like, they're both not like in both the book and the movie, they're both not typical families.
Right.
But in the movie, it's a very broken family versus in the book, it's a very loving, supportive family. And I feel the meaning almost changes in the movie in that way because it almost gives Victor like a backstory
Right.
that is like
He didn't
okay.
know what a father was, so that's
Yeah,
why
like,
he's acting this
there's
way.
a reason why he's crazy versus in the book it's just like he was just curious. He just wanted to find
Right.
out. He's not necessarily evil.
Right, and
but-
then when he found out, he was like, ooh, what is it? He fucked around and found out. He
Yeah.
was like,
No, I saw this one comment and it was like men want to give birth so
no,
bad.
literally.
Like that's basically what it is. He's like just the worst father ever. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Victor's tale, it's a good interpretation. Personally, I prefer the book. I think
Right.
in general, I'm just going to prefer the book throughout the whole thing because I feel like
Books
there's-
always give so much more context and
yeah,
everything.
there's like a level of depth that you can't really reflect in a movie. So
Right.
like the original book explored a bunch of different stuff, but each movie interpretation kind of hones in on one specific thing. And this kind of really explored parenthood and like nurturing and stuff like that.
Mhm, definitely. For me, I think the best thing, there's a couple things that stood out about Victor's tale. One that didn't really have to do with the tale, more about like the scenery. So I guess this one might be a little bit of spoilers, but like when his mom died and like and his dad later died, like the coffins were so
Yes.
cunt. Like I want to be buried in a coffin like that. That is now in my will. I want my face to be carved like that. It was just like I was like, wow, that was the scenery
Yes.
for that was amazing.
I also thought it was interesting how I think this was in another interview, but like red is kind of associated with his mother and how there was like the red around his mother's face, but then when his
Right.
dad dies, it's just completely black.
Right.
Like very different in the like how they are
Character
treated.
development and stuff. Yes, definitely. I totally agree. Another thing too, like a lot of it too, like what you were saying, this does focus on how this iteration is different from the book because it kind of focuses a lot on parenthood, where Victor didn't have a dad. His dad was very distant. And then when he did finally have a dad, his little brother was born, and that took all of his like priority and then his attention and everything.
Yeah.
So that kind of turned him immediately into this kind of like goth character. Like he just
He's just
immedi-
like an edgy kid who's like, no one likes me, no one loves me.
and he carries that off into like his adulthood and stuff. But that is like the basis of his whole motive of getting like wanting to create Frankenstein because his dad was this big giant doctor and the doctor couldn't save his mom when his mom was trying to die.
Yes.
So he was like, oh, you're so big and bad, but you couldn't save her. Okay, watch, I'm gonna become better than you. So that was his whole like revenge in a way, kind of like that.
Yeah.
He just lived his whole life based on revenge, really not really like processing the ramifications and the consequences of what would happen afterwards, because that's even what he said. He said, I never like considered like
Yeah, he never thought about what would happen after creation, which I feel like it's the same in the book. He didn't think about what would happen after
Right.
creation, but just like the motives of Victor change a lot. He's more like driven by like I guess revenge, like spite. He's driven
Spite,
by
mhm.
spite.
I
Versus
feel that,
in the
though.
book, he's not really driven by spite. He's just like, I want to look at this stuff. I'm
Right.
going to look at old science and make it better.
Right. I felt the spite thing, though. There's a lot of stuff I've done in life where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it because people said I could not do it.
Yeah, and sometimes that's okay, but when
But yeah, when you take it,
creating
when you
life.
take it this far, it is a little too much.
yeah.
We see a lot of Elizabeth in this tale. We don't see her too much in Victor's tale, but what's really cool in this one is like Elizabeth is usually the love interest of Victor, and in this one, Victor does have a love interest for Elizabeth, but she takes goth to the extreme, and she's like, no, I want the dead one. The dead one is what I want.
I don't know. I think that's interesting because some people interpret Elizabeth's like relation to the creature as like romantic, but then I think Mia Goth was kind of trying to go for like that maternal,
mothering. I definitely get that because like during the one scene where she does go down there in the middle of the night and he's showing her leaves, the way that she's talking to him is very much like you're a little kid.
Yes.
But when I guess we'll get to that part in the other in the next tale. But yeah, she does during that part. She does definitely like it is very much like, oh, come here, oh, you're so oh, look at you, you're so
like,
cute.
Oh, my name is Elizabeth. Can you say Elizabeth?
Right. But that part did scare me a little. Not scare me, but like she would like put her hand on her throat. I was like, oh, hold on, he's strong. Like, what are you doing?
Calm down.
It is the middle of the night, and you're like, choke me. Hold on, choke me. Like, chill. It's okay. Okay, so we'll go into. Do you think there's anything else that we missed from Victor's tale?
I don't believe. Another thing. How he was funded is very different. So in the original book, he was going off to college. He didn't really have, like, he went home occasionally, but he was very private about his whole stuff. Versus in the movie, he's very out and proud about
It was like
everything.
a one-man show in the book.
Yes, and then also something, like, glaring, like, missing in the movie. There's no Henry Clerval, who was his best friend throughout college and is, like, helping. So kind of like in the book, some people like speculate that it was like kind of like he was a little bit in love with Henry, but they just like didn't realize it. And so I feel like that's just another thing that this movie didn't get to, and it's okay because that's not what Del Toro was getting for.
Victor was in love with Henry?
Yes.
I kind of felt that. Like, and vice versa. Like, during the book version, I was like, they're a little sus. Like, I approve. I ship.
Like, my fiance's back at home and I need someone like...
Right. And the whole time when you were visiting your wife, I missed you. Life wasn't the same without you.
Yeah.
Another thing, too, I'm glad that we did touch on that because another different thing is how the reason why Victor kind of decides he needs to kind of like kill the creature, right? This one is he does it out of jealousy. He sees that because he has a thing for Elizabeth, obviously, and he kind of sees this. He brings up before when he like tells Elizabeth his feelings for her, like, don't you feel this connection that we have? So he ends up seeing that the monster and Elizabeth also have that connection that he thought that they had. So he immediately gets jealous after that and then starts like tormenting the creature. That was like the first initial beginning of, Victor being like a straight, besides being just not a good father figure at all. But that was his first like real like lashing out at him, like hitting him, and like really that's when the creature like basically bossed up and showed him his strength. And then that's when Victor was like, oh shit. Like,
yeah. Which I think is definitely interesting because I feel like in the movie, Victor, he has less dimensions than he does in the book. I feel like in the book, there wasn't really, in the movie, Victor kind of like plays the role of a father a little bit, but in the book, he leaves immediately. He's like, he sees the creature, he's like, fuck no, I'm out of here. Like, I cannot do this. And so I just think that's interesting that it's like, just the portrayals of Victor in the movie, it's very easy to hate Victor.
Oh, definitely.
Very, very easy.
Definitely. Yeah, honestly, yeah. I did not. There was not one point where I was like, you know what? He's a good guy. Or
No,
I get where he's coming from. There was not one point in that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me. My brother used to be obsessed with Batman, and like whenever I would like, technically Batman's a good guy, but like I would get pissed that he just like doesn't kill the Joker because like. He's gonna escape after you catch him.
He loves him too.
And so, like, my opinion was always like, oh no, poor Batman. Like, both of his parents died when he was little, and that's like the only bad thing that's ever happened to him. And that's how I feel about this Victor. Like, his parents died when he was little, and that's the only bad thing that's really happened. Like,
poor rich kid.
Yeah, poor rich kid. Oh no.
Oh no, you're gonna be all alone in your mansion. Not even mansion. All alone in your castle. Excuse me. This is bigger than a mansion. All right, so we'll get into the creature's tale. So the way that the movie kind of like gets into the creature's tale is, the creature loses the very first fight in the interlude, and then this gives time for Victor to tell the captain his tale. So right as Victor's wrapping up his part of the tale, which ends in, Victor's attempt at killing the creature. The creature ends up coming in, and as he's about to kill the captain, Victor's like, "No, don't do it. I'm right here. Just do it to me." And then, because they've been playing this game of cat and mouse forever.
Yes.
So then not Frankenstein, excuse me. The creature finally realizes, oh, okay, he told you his side. Let me tell you my side, which to me was like a little like, okay, hold on. Ideally, this dead guy comes in, kills a couple of your dudes, and he comes in like really, really big and bold, and he's like, "Wait, give me a second.
Like, wait, you gotta understand me. You gotta hear me out. Like,
I have feelings.
I'm this way because of things. I'm not just like this.
Right. But his feelings are totally valid. So the creature's tail picks up with him washed up on the shore after an attempt to kill him. The creature finds himself at a cottage and hides there while protecting the people who live there. The whole family leaves for the winter and ends up leaving the old blind man behind, who was like their father figure there. This is when the creature reveals himself to the old man, leading him to piece together that he was the person protecting their house the whole time. The old man offers him shelter, then teaches him how to read and talk. Now his mind is vastly intelligent. The creature begins to wonder where he's from and then ventures his way back to the tower. He finds pieces of Victor's blueprints inside of the burned down ashes of the leftover tower, and inside of that's where he finds that he was made out of a bunch of body parts, and he doesn't even come from the same nature as man. Now we see the creature set off to find Victor, and he's looking for him for either comfort, revenge, or a better understanding of who he is. So, what part of the creature story did you find most fascinating?
Well, I think they cut out a couple of bits. I think the first one was that he, after Victor kind of, abandons him in the original book.
Right.
He goes out and he sees, a little girl who's playing in the river and she's about to drown, so he tries to save her, but then she starts screaming when she sees him because, scary guy.
Dead guy.
Yeah, scary dead guy. Oh, no. So he puts his hand over her mouth to try to hey, it's okay, shh. But he accidentally strangles her. And then another thing they cut out was the monster meets William, who in the book William is much younger than Victor in the book. He's a little kid when Victor's an adult. And so he accidentally kills William in the book, and then they have this caretaker named Justine. And he frames it on Justine because he doesn't want them to figure him out. And so I think those parts being taken out are kind of replaced with the monster's relationship with Elizabeth, which I feel is okay. It kind of takes away a little bit of the monster's depth. It takes away a little bit of his capability for cruelty. He didn't mean to be cruel. He's just kind of like that. Are you familiar with the one spider story that's I didn't mean to be cruel, my crime was being tiny or something? It kind of reminds me of that. But I'm glad that they left in the story with the old man, because I feel that's an essential part, and that's even in when I was reading. I didn't watch the 1931 and the Bride of Frankenstein movies, but I was reading your blog about it, and I'm glad that they left that relationship in there too, because I feel that's such an integral part of it.
It really is.
But
that's where you show the old man is where you show not where you show, that's where the story shows where if you get over what's on the outside and really get to know what's on the inside, this was a person who was trying to be good and trying to just literally learning life. He it's not his fault. He was fucking so strong.
Yeah, it's not his fault. He's terrible to look at.
And how everybody is super scared of him, and literally their first instinct is, let me kill this guy. Yeah. Which is crazy.
Just, imagine you existing, and then everyone you meet is just you're terrifying. I need to kill you right now.
No, seriously. And then so with that, the old man, him being blind is if it was a regular old man, it wouldn't really give that feeling, but him specifically being blind, and basically every iteration where they have the old guy, he is always blind, because him being blind shows that it's the sight of him that really is off-putting, and that's why society ends up doing so much stuff to him is based on what he looks like, not on how he acts. And then he is just reacting to what society is throwing at him. And then by the end of it, he gives up the fight and is basically just like, all right, you guys want me to be a monster, I'm gonna be a monster.
Yeah, like, I'm just gonna give in. Like, everyone else can, like, do
Right.
stuff. Why can't I do stuff?
Right, literally, you guys, it's okay for you guys to always try to go after and kill me.
Yeah.
Even though he's
Like,
whatever. But
oh, well.
you know, it's justifiable. It's justifiable.
Yes.
The creature's tail in this one is very. I really liked the creature's tail because this is when we kind of see like the relationship, in my opinion, kind of be more like lovey in a way with Elizabeth and the creature, because when the creature like crashes their wedding, and Elizabeth sees him, like Elizabeth's reaction is like finally like she found something that she thought she lost forever, and it literally looked like she was ready to like leave the wedding to be with him. Like that was the vibe I was getting. She was like, someone said object and he came, so bye y'all.
Yes.
And this one, it is crazy how Victor killed Elizabeth. That one's a spoiler. I should have said that beforehand.
It's okay.
My bad. But yeah, Victor kills Elizabeth. That is definitely the difference in this story,
Yes.
because Elizabeth doesn't die in the 1931 version. Does she die in the book?
She dies in the book.
That's
the
right.
monster kills her to get at Victor. So I feel like the movie kind of makes Victor, this is another example of turning Victor into the villain, into the monster.
Yeah, because this one he does specifically kill her. Like it is his hands that kill her, and then in the book it is like his hands metaphorically that killed her,
Yes.
because he created the
Yeah.
creation that ended up
It's
killing
like a
her.
trickle down.
Right. But this one, I don't know why. Like, so it was really beautiful. The directing style of this was like super. It reminded me of Kill Bill, because in Kill Bill at the end they had this fight scene in like the snow where Lucy Liu ends up getting like scalped by the sword, and then the blood just goes all over the white snow, and then they had that whole entire same concept in this where the creature carries Elizabeth all the way back to his little cave, and the whole time she's just dripping blood in the snow. So that's kind of how Victor is able to follow them back. But they used that whole, Guillermo del Toro used that whole like scene concept, I think was really inspired from kind of
And
that.
I think that's kind of a motif that he likes, because there's another movie that he directed and I think wrote called Crimson Peak. And like the whole reason why it's called Crimson Peak is because there's this one like, it's a very interesting, it's very gothic, it's kind of creepy and kind of has incest in it, which is like, oh, interesting. Why would you include that?
The book kind of did too, a little
yeah,
bit.
a little bit. Technically not, but they were raised as siblings. But the whole reason why that is called Crimson Peak is because when it snows, the clay that's red like rises up and it stains the snow red. And so I think that's just something that he really likes. And then also in this movie, it was interesting. They kind of, when Victor and Elizabeth go butterfly hunting, that's a reference back to Crimson Peak with the like butterflies in that movie.
Her costume in that was that color. Oh my god! I want to be buried in the coffin, but in that costume. Like it was.
You need like a window for the dress,
Yeah,
and then
literally.
you need like a view into your head.
Just cover the face and then leave the dress out. Another thing too for the creature's tail, I guess, is still talking about the snow and stuff. I guess snow, white has always been like an example of like purity, and then blood is obviously like an example of death. So death on straight purity. I think that's like the artistic example of that. But it really is just captivating to see it done in an emotional setting, not just like there's been like slasher movies like In the Snow where that isn't as beautiful in a sense, but like in that sense he's like carrying his either lover or mother lover back to the cave, and to go bring her last piece, because she's the one that told him, take me with you, because she is. So to kind of not even to jump ahead, this is kind of like the next part. So I think the biggest like development in this story that I personally liked that was different was the concept of Elizabeth's character. Elizabeth's character was, I think, if Mary Shelley was alive today, she would definitely be 100% like in love with this character. She was the original goth girl. She literally had her husband's dead heart wrapped in poetry that lived inside of a box in her drawer for years on end. Like, I think that is very much like Elizabeth would have did this if she found like Frankenstein's heart. Why do I keep calling him Frank? That's almost like misgendering someone.
It's
oh my
interesting
goodness.
because like it's almost like Victor in the original story.
I don't like calling him the monster.
Yeah, the creature.
Right.
I don't know, the creation. But it's interesting because Victor was so like ashamed of his creation of the creature. And so to call the creature Frankenstein, it's almost like, wow, that just like reflects on you.
name.
It's just like an extension of you basically. This is you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Gemini. That's like his double side.
Oh, yes.
2 sides, or like his little shadow realm
Yes.
person.
And I feel like that's something I also kind of wanted to touch on. I feel like in the movie, it does a good job of like portraying the creature as something pure and like more good versus Victor as like the evil. And whereas in the book, it portrays both of them as having 2 sides. And so I feel like the movie might be easier for some people to understand and break down because these characters are less like multi-dimensional.
Yeah, they're very one's
Yes.
one's the other.
And so it's like instead of like adopting like, oh, I'm just like the creature or I'm just like Victor, this movie makes you think, oh, I'm just like both of them. And it's interesting in that way.
Yeah, the book definitely like heavily emphasizes on the fact that the monster, the creature, is trying to basically break down Victor to be the same as him, since he doesn't want to create another person like him. So that also goes into like, this makes sense that this new movie is like 2 hours and something minutes long.
Yeah.
Because realistically, like the first 2 movies, Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein, technically, literally just seamlessly went right in together. It just went right after each other. And in the book, it kind of just went right into each other. So even that first movie, if it was based off the book, it was cut off in the middle of the book. Like there was still so much more to tell about the story.
Yeah.
Which in The Bride of Frankenstein, which is really cool, because that video that you sent, the guy in there, what is his name?
Wendigoon.
Wendigoon? That's a good name. But he was saying that shoot, what was I saying?
Wendigoon was saying something about the movie Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh no.
Else.
I lost it. But yeah, I think Wendigoon, he was talking about I remember. So he was talking about how this how the book was made. Basically, Mary Shelley was like in a room full of writers, and they were like pitching ideas and all that. And this was her idea being pitched. At the beginning of Bride of Frankenstein, it's really cute because they're open for that.
I remember.
It's the character Mary Shelley. The actress Elsa Lancaster, I think is her name. She plays Mary Shelley in the beginning, and then she plays the Bride of Frankenstein at the end. But in the beginning, it's basically that whole conversation. It's like, oh, it's her being Mary Shelley. Like, oh, that wasn't the end of the story. I have so much more to tell. And then that's how they end up into the Bride of Frankenstein, and then it just picks up right off of basically where the creature's tail picks up off of. It's the wreckage. What's different between the old movies, the book, and the new one is, I guess, the purity with the monster as well. He did a lot of stuff out of curiosity, and then he learned. So, like, when it comes to the little girl Maria, in the movie, he was playing with the little girl. I think he threw her in because he just literally wanted to see if she floated. That was like the vibe.
Probably.
He was like, "Oh, that's cool. Let's see if you do it." And then like tossed her right into the lake, and she did not float. And he was like, "Ah." He
How
literally,
is he supposed to know?
No, and that's how he reacted. He like went back and forth like and then just like ran away, scared. And then that was the first person he killed in the movie. The next person he killed in the movie was like the doctor who was like trying to kill him. Basically, the whole entire first movie, anyone who died was all self-defense besides the little girl. The little girl that was like totally just like a giant kid just not knowing better. Like if there was an adult around to say, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
He would have been like, okay.
Okay, sorry, didn't know.
Yeah, literally, my bad. Now I know. Because he is able to learn really quickly in all of these iterations. So that was just like a bad timing. And then what's different is the Bride of Frankenstein, he actually does create the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yes, which I think is very interesting because I feel like the 1930s movies, they're kind of like different than Del Toro's interpretation, which focused on parenthood and like nurturing the 1930s movies are more focused on creation and playing
yeah.
God.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why Frankenstein like continues and is not satisfied with just creating one creature. That's why he creates the bride, which is interesting because in the movie, I think like in the most recent movie, he actually like when the monster approaches Victor and is like, "Hey, like, can you make someone like me?"
Right.
He just outright like refuses. And then in the book, when the monster approaches him, I think it was after the monster killed someone, and he approached Victor and was like, "Hey, like, can you make me a bride? Like, not
Right.
even a bride. Can you make me a friend? Can you
literally
make me
anybody.
a companion? Anyone. I just need
Hot
anyone
topic,
like me."
the creature in the new one, I think the creature in the new one is totally like non-binary and like not straight or anything, because he also was like, you know what, I just want like a companion, like a friend, very not like give me a wife. But in the movie he was like, I want wife.
I want wife. But in the book, it was interesting because Victor actually starts making the other creature. And then, like, at the end, he realizes, wait, like, these theoretically could procreate, which is like, one, you could just not give the monster, not give the creation those parts. Like, you didn't have to do all that. But two, like, to go through all that work and then just, like, destroy it right at the very end. And then the creature comes in and he's like, what the fuck did you do that for? Like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah, I think he had the thought of like, what if they procreate? Okay, if they procreate, I am the creator of this new race that it can now have the potential of like taking over the world, killing the world. Because what's also different, this one's a spoiler. What's also different in the new iteration that I didn't really see in other ones is that the curse of Frankenstein in this one is not that he is alive, but is that he can't die.
Yeah.
Somehow this experiment, he was able to, they talk a lot about his experiment being able to like store energy in a specific like part of a nerve or whatever, but the way that he did it basically reanimates the creature every single time he dies. He dies so many times in this movie. Like everybody kills him. And he just comes back and comes back and comes back. So with this, I think that they're really trying to get at the concept of like this one just feels so much more like goth and emo in a way, because they're really trying to get at the concept of like some only aspect of a form of release if you're having a really, really hard life, which like the creature is like death. But in this one, this is why he gets so mad at Victor, is because he has cursed him to not die. This is why he feels this utter loneliness, because everything will die around him, but he will continue to live on constantly with nobody like being susceptible to like him, because he's this dead guy walking around.
And I feel like this most recent movie is almost worse in that way, because in the original book, the monster ends up killing himself by lighting himself on fire after Victor dies.
Right.
And so I just think it's very interesting. And then in the movie, Elizabeth, like after Victor like professed his love to her, like there's a connection, I feel it. She's like, choice is the seat of life and she is chosen. And I feel like that quote is just very interesting, because the monster doesn't have a choice. Like, even if he tried to have a choice, like try to make a friend, there is no choice there. No one wants to be his friend. No one will give him that opportunity. There's
only one person. And then he also like said that was when his like life felt the most normal.
Yeah, which is really sad.
Right. Another like side little thing I saw in the movie. Have you ever watched Degrassi? It was like an old Canadian like drama show. But yeah, there's Degrassi. There's a girl. I think her name is like Ellen Page or no. But yeah, she's randomly some like actress in there. I was like, oh,
that's funny.
There she is, like 10 years later. So I think that's basically almost everything for the similar stuff that is like between the movies and the novel and the old version and the new version. Yeah. Basically, in this one, the biggest question is like, who's the monster? And so, who do you think is the monster?
Well,
out of all of the iterations put together,
all of the iterations,
in your deepest, hardest heart.
Thing.
Or okay, for each one, we could go to each one.
Well, for each one, I feel like for the book, at least, I feel like both of them are the monster because originally the creature, like, he is pure of heart. But then as he goes on, he, like, gets hardened by life and he just, like, realizes, okay,
Don't we
there's,
all?
like... But, like, for him specifically, there's no way to move past that. Like, us as people, we can move past that.
Right.
We can, like, continue to be good. But, like, in the creature's case, like, at least for, like, when he was living with the family, he, like, was able to help, but then at the end, like, he's still regarded as this, like, terrible monster.
Right.
And so I feel like in the original one, they're both the monster. And then...
I agree.
Yeah. And then in the 1930s movies, I definitely believe that Frankenstein is more of the monster. The creature is, like, kind of the monster. He's, like, a typical, like, monster depiction.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the most recent one, I feel like Victor is the main one that we see as the monster. And then, like, I feel like in the most recent movie, he's never really killed anyone out of, like, I'm going to kill you. Even when he sees the ship and he kills the people who were working on the ship.
Right.
Those are all technically defense deaths because they were all coming at him. So.
Right. Oh, that brings me to, like, a similarity kind of between the new movie and the novel when it comes to the cottage scene. When the family comes back to the cottage, you know, they attack him, but he still leaves because he's hurt instead. He was like, I could have ripped them apart, but you know what? I'm just going to leave. And in the new one, he still didn't attack nobody. You know, besides the one that stabbed him right there.
Yeah.
He ripped off his jaw. That was tens. So besides that, he could have went on and attacked the two that were standing right there by the door on his way out, but he was like, what is the point?
Didn't do
they
anything
didn't do
to
anything
me,
to me. So
your house is burning. Your grandfather was, like, killed by
mauled
wolves. Like,
that scene was crazy.
Oh, it was
I will give
so
you
sad.
guys a warning for that. I personally, like, I love gore and stuff, but not when it comes to animals.
Oh, yeah. And then another part that was a little bit freaky, I was watching it with my mom, and she was like, tell me when this part's over, when he's making the creature.
Oh, right.
And he's, like, he's, like, sawing into the leg and, like,
They did good
moving the
effects for that.
tendons in the arms to, like, move the fingers. It's like, ooh. Like,
they added a bunch of sound effects to make it, like, the little...
Oh my gosh,
to
and I
make
thought
it-
the, like, sound design was very interesting in that too, because in the book it's kind of like he's going into this, like, dark spiral, but, like, this part when he's creating the creature, it's like so happy and,
yeah,
like,
it sounds like the
glittery and, like,
it gives vibes of, like, the theme song I have for the podcast. It's really just very, like, uplifting and spooky.
and, like, he's, like, falling in love with Elizabeth, and it's
Right.
just, like, it's so much different. It just gives such a different vibe, and it's very interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
I also agree in the book, both of them are monsters. I think in the book, this is when the creature is the most a monster.
Yes.
Is in the book. In the new iteration, I just think that he was handed the wrong cards. If he was able to live with the blind guy forever, he would have literally just been some, like, sheep herder or some shit.
Yeah, like he
some
would have been
monk.
okay.
And then in the older movies too, in the older movies, I find it the creature, he was the one who had the realization. He was like, nah, this shit
Yeah.
ain't right.
Which I think is really funny because, like, the creature is thinking this. I think another part, like, why they didn't want to make another one is that, like, what if the new creature doesn't want to do this? Like,
Right.
and I just thought that was funny. Like, okay, so the creature is thinking this, but the guy making it isn't thinking it. Like,
Another
what's going
thought
on
that I
here?
had too is when the bride came out and was also scared of him. He's like, "Well, I'm really fucked. You know, no one can like me." That was my last thought. Was like, let's build a dead bitch, and if she likes me, we're good. But she don't like
To
me,
be fair,
so
she's really pretty
she
compared
did
to him.
right. She came out pretty. She came out really pretty. But yeah, so
Like, damn, can you just give me a new head or something? Like, I'm
right.
already dead.
Some makeup or something. Great, that was so cool. So we have gotten to the segment where I love the most. This is a little fun game called Slash or Smash. So the rules are very simple. I will tell you a couple of creatures pulled from the crypt, and we will say whether we would slash them or smash them, and give a
Okay.
reason why.
A reason why.
Just, a brief one. So it is very on theme today. First up, we have the creature. We'll do the original one, Boris Karloff.
Let's see.
I am going to say, out of sympathy, this is going to be a sympathy smash. This one's a
Sympathy.
This is my charity work for the year.
Yeah. He doesn't deserve to die, I guess. So,
Right.
Smash.
That's kind of where I'm going for too. All right, next up we have a Jacob Elordi's version. I'm also I'll say smash, but not with the sympathy one.
Not with the sympathy.
Yeah, not with the sympathy
This
one.
is like for pleasure.
Yeah, I was on
No,
the
I feel
same
like
side as
Jacob
Elizabeth.
Elordi is more attractive now that he has played Frankenstein. Like, he's better
I see the
now.
vision.
I see the vision.
The
He has
vision-
potential now.
Right. Victor was cooking when he was putting the body parts together. He was like, okay. Yeah, so def that one. Both
Yes.
smash. Next up, we have Victor Frankenstein. The first one is by the actor Colin Clive. I'm going to say slash.
Yeah, personally, neither of these guys are my type. So slash.
Yeah, and the next one is Oscar Isaac. I'm also going to say slash for this
Really?
Victor Frankenstein. Yeah. The actor himself, I would do it. But Victor Frankenstein, he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, no, he doesn't deserve it. This guy's too evil.
The best part of the movie was every time he got hurt, I was like, yes, Callum.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Elizabeth. The first one is going to be by Mae Clark.
I'd say smash.
Yeah, honestly, she gives like she was like the epitome of like the 30s, 40s
Yes.
actress pinup vintage doll. She was just perfect. Next is Mia Goth.
I think her costumes in this was like, they were all so beautiful. I'd say smash, because like it'd be sad to like lose
I
all
could
those dresses.
Probably write a whole novel on just the costumes that they gave. Mia Goth particularly because she played Victor's mom too,
Yes.
Claire Frankenstein. And the costumes they gave her was like super. All of them were just gone.
No, and like the detail and everything, and like how they chose the colors, and like the one green dress with like the malachite print on it. It's like so stunning.
And then some of the random color coordinating, like there was like, I think it was the green dress, it was like a blue scarf and then like a plum hat or something.
Yes.
It was like those colors shouldn't go together, but on her they all go together.
They all work perfectly.
That was perfect. That was slash or smash. Remember, you guys can comment below your top slash and your top smash. So we have almost dug a hole big enough to fit this topic into. But before we go, this is the part of the show where we answer chilling inquiries from the Crypt Keepers. Today's question is, to the cunt creature in the crypt. My mom always told me that I came from a strange family tree. She would say, watch when you turn 18 and you'll see what I'm talking about. Well, the day fell upon me. Yesterday was really great and everything was normal until the clock struck midnight. The clouds in the sky miraculously cleared the view of the moon, and when it did, it revealed the brightest, fullest moon I ever seen. When I stared at it, I couldn't help but let out a loud howl. Once I did, my fingernails grew long and sharp. My body started to scrunch over and grow at the same time, tearing off the clothes I was wearing. Side note, it ruined my favorite top. Hair engulfed every inch of my body. Another side note, I just took an everything shower that morning and that really irritated me. Lastly, my teeth were enlarged and fangs sprung out of my mouth. I guess this is what my mom was talking about. Your girl is giving werewolf. My mom isn't a werewolf. She told me it was from my no good dad who ran off a few days before I was born. No, seriously, WTF, what the F am I supposed to do? Is there some sort of way to reverse this? Do I try to find my dad to see why our genetics have been cursed to live like this? Does this make me a furry now? Yours, Ghoulie, hairy, hungry, and confused. She, her.
Let's see. Well, let's hope that it's only when it's a full moon.
Right.
Let's hope you only see the moon. So maybe, not quite sure how werewolves work, but maybe just like don't look up when you go outside and you might be okay.
I've heard some people chaining themselves just for the night.
Yeah.
If you're into that kind of thing, that seems a little too kinky for me. I would stay away from the chains.
Doesn't have to be.
Right. If there's a way to reverse it, I know in the game Sims, you have to like find a witch and like create a little potion. So I am sure there is a definite possibility there is somebody out there with some cool spooky powers that know some sort of way to get you together.
Yeah.
And like Celeste said, hopefully it's not every day and it's just the full moon, because that could be avoidable. You could just always travel to avoid the moon's rotation, right?
I mean, maybe. I don't think I don't think it works that way. I don't
No.
think like I don't know if like the moon is full in one part of the world and then like no, not there in like another. I think it's just like for
No?
the whole globe is like all full.
Dang. Well, I guess it's more so the sun and the moon. One
Yeah.
side's dark, one side's not dark.
But-
Maybe you can always like travel to the sun.
Yes, but even if you are stuck a werewolf, that's okay because people just have to be more accepting.
Right.
As in Frankenstein, it's not what matters that's on the outside; it's the inside.
Literally, what is on the inside. And travel to Alaska. The sun's out for like 3 months over there.
God.
That'll be a cute vacation spot. Awesome. So we had gotten to the end of the episode, all right? So I'd like to thank my guest, Celeste Zito, for hanging out with us today. Celestial Celeste, do you have anything you'd like to plug, like a show or Instagram?
Why, yes. So personal Instagram is Red Car Window. You should follow there. But I also have a show at UIC Radio, Time Capsule Radio, from 10 to 11, same time as this. But it's okay because this is a podcast and you can always listen to both.
Right.
Yes.
Literally, go listen to the show and then go to YouTube
Yes,
and come to the podcast.
Exactly. We have an Instagram for that, which should just be at Time Capsule Radio. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
No
I'm really happy
worries.
that I got to talk about Frankenstein.
No, thank you for coming. I'm so excited you got to come. So I would like to thank you again. This was really, really awesome. I had so much fun. I'd like to thank UIC Radio for publishing the podcast. But most importantly, I'd like to thank you guys, the Crypt Keepers. Thank you for digging this grave with me and my guest today. But unfortunately, the graveyard is closed. So until next time, we'll leave this episode in the crypt. Farewell and bad dreams. Make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at She's in the Crypt for updates about shows and upcoming guests. Follow UIC Radio at UIC Radio on Insta and subscribe to the UIC Radio YouTube channel so you won't miss a single episode every Monday at 10 a.m. You can also check out the other shows on the network. The podcast was created, written, and edited by Niomi Dylan Sass. Hey! And published by UIC Radio. Music by Arthur Benson, A Friendly Ghost, and sound effects from epidemicsounds.com. If you can't get enough of She's in the Crypt, you can check out my bi-weekly blog, Crypt Collections, every other Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on the website uicradio.net. You can find me in the blog section. Bye!